It is finally time to go ahead and do my top 10 LRs tier list, and I'm very excited to do this. I've been sitting on it for a while because I wanted to make sure I get ample testing with all these characters and get a good grasp at how these new events for the Global Dokkan campaign feel. In my personal opinion, I think that the new Global Dokkan special battle event is by far and away the hardest fight in the game right now. I would say, all the red zones, battle hard and formidable foes, they're still decently difficult, but these new fights definitely take a step above what I think the difficulty in those fights were like. So we will indeed be kind of talking about mostly the Global Dokkan special battle. Now, I'm also going to be bringing up Festival 2, right? I think Festival is a character Festival is an event where I think a lot of characters can still get caught. Well, I kind of spoiled one section, but I don't think it's really surprising to see a certain character at the top of Festival. But again, this is the only other one that to me kind of stands out, and I know people don't like it. I'm not going in their festival every day oh, I'm a big festival lover. But if I was gonna say what's harder between the Jiren and red zones or battle hardened foes in this fight, it is this fight, and it is pretty much the only, I think, real difficult long fight right now in accordance to what the new characters powers are like and things like that. So that's why I think that I'm going to be ranking this one. Now, I will say we do have a new event potentially coming out tonight that could be, well, I say potentially, but we know this Dokkan Ultimate Player's Choice battle is coming out tonight. It could be a difficult, longer fight, but I also do expect firstly a part 3 kind of to come out, and I mean it could even have another LR anyways. So with that in mind, I'm just gonna push this video out today because I want to at least kind of have my thoughts on the part 2 kind of, I guess, meta, you could say, before part 3 begins. And if we do get this really difficult long fight, I think things can shake up with that and the new part 3 LR in terms of this tier list. So I'm gonna go ahead and make sure we have one for, of course, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta kind of not Supreme Battle Spectacle, the special battle, right? And another thing is I haven't put together a top 10 before this. We're going to do this in the video. We're going to talk about where I would put these characters in the video, and I haven't even put Rose or Vegeta Blue in this kind of tier list for the festival battles either. I'm going to be mentioning that here, but, or how do I explain it? We're going to be making the tier list live in the video. It's not going to be anything that I put together pre-made. I have a general guesstimate where characters might be, but so far it's been completely undecided. I think especially when it comes to oh, who's in 4, who's in 8, who's in 9, I haven't thought about that in a full complete thought. So that's the second thing I wanted to point out here today when it comes to this specific list. So again, I hope you guys do enjoy the video, and that's enough of me yapping really. Let's just kind of hop into it. So this is going to be the Global Dokkan special battle. Again, I think things have switched up from this tier list from the last time I was kind of doing it, but I added a few characters just ahead of time. Vegeta and Rose, I think these two, I say Vegeta, but Goku and Vegeta, then Rose, I think do stand above the rest of the LRs in terms of a Z tier. I feel like these characters are very little weaknesses in those fights, have a lot of tools around them, and just overall just really strong, provide a lot to their teams. Just a very unique option that I think is a character that is not a character you could kind of replace by others. These characters provide a lot of strength to these stages. They are basically the second step. The only thing about them is that they have a pretty open and clear weakness to them. For example, these guys getting locked and then being kept on rotation for turn 3 in the Goku Black fight, I think especially is their weakness. It's not the most common thing ever, but it can happen, and it has happened to me a lot. Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I think doesn't dodge and bro's dead. That just is a thing, right? 70% dodge, doesn't die. A tier is a tier where it's okay, these characters actually can't do quite a lot here, but I just don't think are on the level of S tier really just overall in these fights. We talk about Vegeta and the Gogeta. I feel like this guy is stronger in, like, let's say the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta fights, even the what's it called, what's the word I was gonna say, even in the like Omega fight, probably, or the Blue Goku and Vegeta fight, I think like this guy's better. But you could argue this character is better for Goku Black and Zamasu. I would say the hardest fight, which you may think is a little crazy, but the thing is, this character, if you're able to float him off, get him turn 4, or just get him turn 4 in general with the Veku Ghost Usher, that is crazy utility. Just being able to get rid of either Goku Black or Zamasu, most likely Goku Black. You could get rid of Goku Black, target down Zamasu, and then when this guy comes back around, they have a turn of guaranteed dodge. It's a very powerful ability, much stronger than the Potara break. And even in like the Gogeta fight or the Omega fight, you still have this as an option, the kind of Veku active skill. Or if we're able to get Super Gogeta out, I think Super Gogeta is a stronger character in these fights compared to Super Vegito, because Super Gogeta is a much less stack reliance. So in these shorter fights, it's like that. But again, I think the Super Saiyan Goku is much better than the Super Saiyan Vegeta when it comes to survivability. Like this guy in slot 3 gets tagged by a Rose Super, and he gets hurt really badly, if not just dies. This guy could take double digits, right? So there is the big main difference between those two. LR10 is really good. UI Goku's really good. I feel like I don't want to kind of talk about all of these characters in extensiveness, but this is just based off of my testing. Fusion Zamasu, I think, is better than people give him credit for. This guy could take very little damage, you know, from some of these really hard-hitting super attacks. Gotenks has the Key Blast nullification, you know, even both of them have Rainbow Orb changing, like to provide some utility. Like there's a lot here when it comes to these characters. I think, you know, yeah. So with all this being set and done, we're going to talk about some of these characters just kind of extensively, I would say, for the summonable LRs, but the free-to-play LRs are just kind of insert in here. I think this guy's like decent. I would probably, honestly, I would probably even B tier would be good, maybe, because this guy does provide quite a bit of debuffs. This Goku, this Masu Goku, like he does quite a decent amount of things. Where is he? He's actually not even in the first page anymore. Wow, we have so many units. That's crazy. This guy does provide a debuff here. This guy does have the dodge, the damage reduction. Like he's pretty decent. And then here he has the 40% reduction, like I said, against the Goku Black Zamasu fight, even without full extreme class. But usually he does. There is full extreme class. And yeah, no, I do like this guy quite a bit. S-tier orb changing is pretty cool. The only thing is that he does like really want to deliver a final blow, but if he doesn't get that, it's not the biggest deal. Like I've seen this guy used in the toughest stages of the game, and he's able to skate through just fine. I guess I probably would I put him on this kind of level though? I'm not sure. I think I would. Like I don't know. I think this seems better. And I think Nova is a character I'd probably put here in this B tier. Because the thing about Nova is I've seen him get trashed so easily in this fight, but he could, like in the Goku Black Zamasu fight, but he could be so good in that fight at the same time with his Key Blast nullification. You know, once you get both the Mega supports up, he starts looking really good. I've seen this guy have issues in the Gogeta fight though. Like he could take damage from normals at the very end, which makes sense, right? He's type disadvantage. There's just a lot of things to consider when it comes to that. And I do really like this Nova, but I don't think I could really put him on the tiers like, you know, the year 7 or not the year 7. That's crazy. The year 10 LRs, right? In this kind of event here. But and then Sin, I think, is probably around the same here. Honestly, I kind of like Sin up here, low key, but I think I'll put Sin up here. I think that should be fine because again, he has the debuff and stuff like that, but he's a little prone to locking, I think, a bit, and the physical mega fight could really hurt this guy too. So okay, now we can talk about the main 3 here. Enough of the teasing. I mean, off the bat, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is E tier. Like he's just king of these fights. Like where does, I'm in the wrong tab again, where does this guy really have potential issues? I would say at best the Omega Shenron fight, but the Blue Goku and Vegeta fight, this guy has the Ki Blast counter. 70% chance to counter Ki Blast supers, and if you're under 70% HP, it is a guaranteed counter. All 3 of those fights, the Blue Goku Vegeta, the Goku Black Zamasu, and the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta fight himself, they're all Ki Blast supers, right? Gogeta does the Big Bang Kamehameha, the other two do Kamehameha and Final Flash. Then Goku Black and Zamasu do like their kind of Ki Blast as well. Goku Black does Kamehameha too, but you guys get the point, right? That's why Tien is so high, because Tien has those Ki Blast supers against Kamehameha enemies, which, you know, Vegeta in that first fight does actually count, or the second fight, sorry, does actually count as a Kamehameha enemy because it's a Vegeta Goku tag character. And I would say this Blue Goku fight is actually more, like the Blue Goku Vegeta fight is more difficult than people give credit for. I think, you know, Blue Goku could hit really hard in that third turn. It's definitely the weakest out of the few fights that we have, but I think it's still pretty tough, especially considering that we are able to get pretty easily stunned by the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta just in turn 1 like that. Like, it could be pretty devastating. So that's just something I want to point out there. But yeah, I think Gogeta just, I mean, the damage that this guy does too, it's just so insane. Multi-turn support, but it's really the damage he does, like, especially pairing him up with support units like SGR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, dude. And then the next turn you get is active. Like, I see this guy, Goku Black Zamasu, they're done like turn 3. Like, GG, you're dead. Dragon Fist. Like, I've had turns where I killed Zamasu in turn 1. Like, I had 2 Super Saiyan 4 Gogetas, and then, what, SGR Goku? And then Zamasu's dead. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Like, he's done. He's dead, man. Like, at this, it just what happens, right? He's very tanky, of course. The guard 50% reduction, plus the 400% defense against super attack specifically. Now, the only issue this guy could potentially have is against normals, but in these sort of fights, the boss is dead before you even have to worry about that. Like, 9 out of 10 times. So, like, it's not really a big deal. At least from my experience. Like, if I'm actually doing like a run that I'm genuinely trying, and I'm not like trying to just do a little funny showcase, I don't die. Like, it's just, with this team, it just doesn't happen unless I get extremely unlucky. But Gogeta just does so much damage. Like, it's not like I'm not even there. Like, I'm not even thinking about turn 4. Like, turn 3, you're done. Turn 4 with the I think Gogeta fight is possible, and the Omega fight too, because there's the stuns. But I'm thinking about like Goku Black and Zamasu mainly, to be fair. But yeah, no, this guy, he's crazy. Really stupid character, really powerful, dumb character, man. I mean, this guy is different at Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, right? So, Omega Shenron, I am also going to probably, I think, put in Z tier here. The only thing about Omega I don't like, and a lot of people, I think it's a double-edged sword with Omega, because a good thing about him is that he has the AoE for the Goku Black Zamasu fight. So the thing about that is, both of those attacks that he hits on Goku Black Zamasu will disable an action from each of them, which, you know, could be very well the AoE or their super attack, or Zamasu Seal or his super attack, right? I think it's a pretty, like, decent chance that you will actually hit that with the kind of action disable. It's just, it also powers up Goku Black at the same time. So what I see is Nova getting creamed the next turn, because Goku Black is powered up even just a little bit. Like, Nova just like gets even mega creamed. At the same time though, there are builds you could run with the Omega Shenron team now where you just straight up attack Goku Black, because there's so much attack debuffing, right? I mean, full GT bosses itself, there's so much attack debuffing. I mean, I ran Super 17. Yesterday I ran AGL Super 17, or it was 2 days ago. I ran AGL Super 17. The video was out yesterday, but I did it 2 days ago on Twitch. This guy like took some hits in slot 1 and lived in slot 1, which is kind of crazy. Like, he wasn't even fully built up, and he was like, yeah, I'm actually good. I'm good, chat. Actually insane that even, like, happened, I feel like. So that's pretty cool. But in general, like, the actual team, you have AGL Omega, 25% attack debuff. SGR Omega, 40% attack debuff. Sin Shenron has a, what, 20% attack defense debuff for 2 turns. This guy does greatly lower attack as well. This guy does greatly lower attack. Like, there's so much attack lowering going around on this team. Then, you know, you could even bring up LR Rose, Buhan, right? Like, okay, let me bring this up here. You could bring up into Buhan, double greatly lower attack. You could bring up LR Rose, greatly lowers attack in the 12 key. There's a lot of attack lowering on this team where you can just like hold down Goku Black, and then Omega himself does pretty good damage too. So he's able to just straight up kill Goku Black like within the first like 1 or 2 turns if you get rid of like with RNG and stuff like that. The Dokkan field could be really good in the Gogeta fight. The amount of extra damage you see there is really crazy. I would say this fight's biggest weakness, funny enough, is the Omega fight probably, just because like you can't use like the Int Shenron. The Int Shenron is really good. It's maybe a little tougher to use Buhan, but you can still get through it pretty nicely. It's just that locking. Like the thing about this team is there's not really too many characters you can kind of slot in slot 1, like the GT Heroes team even, or the Future Saga team. I feel like so many of these characters you can't really put as a slot 1 character as an emergency. Like Texan turn 1, he could do it. Rose, then Omega would be kind of your de facto slot 1, but it's like Omega's not even really the best slot 1 himself. And then he gets sealed and he doesn't get like the action break, or he doesn't get his 4-turn defense raise in the Omega fight. As to Omega, he'll probably take just so much damage before he even attacks. Like there's not really a lot of characters that I'm like. So like again, that's the biggest issue with this GT bosses team. That's why I like, if we get a baby, I think it would be good for him to be like a de facto slot 1 character. Just another one for this team would be nice. You could have Rose and then the baby like on each of the leader skill, or each of the rotations, not leader skills, right? And I think that would allow things to work out pretty decently, honestly. So that's what I'm pretty much hoping for when it comes to like a Dokkan Fest baby. But I think Omega himself is good enough to deserve being up here in the C tier. No, Vegeta and Trunks, let's really consider everything here with Vegeta Trunks. Again, I think that there's the biggest issue with locking. These fights have locking. The Goku Black fight and then the Omega Shenron fights. The locking in these stages really hurt Vegeta and Trunks. The thing I've noticed though is locking in this fight is not the toughest thing, because if another character gets locked in slot 1 in this fight, they eat the super, Vegeta Trunks is able to build up. This guy doesn't hit hard enough for Vegeta and Trunks to just straight up die, right? And if they would like be floated off, when they come back around, they have some defense stacks with them. They have some attack and defense built up, and then they're actually able to do fine. Realistically, you could also just dodge the super. I would probably build this guy with full dodge, or like, you know, a lot of additional dodge. I think my build is actually what, 19 additional 11 dodge or something. I was actually thinking of switching it up to being full dodge, because what I've noticed from this character is they don't really need to get these additionals, because the additionals don't really do a lot for Vegeta and Trunks, right? Vegeta and Trunks is a character where additionals kind of don't matter. Like the 50% defense is nice, but I would rather like have the chance to straight up dodge a super attack in shorter content, because again, this character in the first 3 turns will have 30% reduction, but outside slot 1 they lose another 30% and 200% attack and defense. So that's where, you know, you'll see these screenshots, these funny little kind of clips of these character, or like this character being put in slot 2 or slot 3 and just like dying, which is kind of, again, I would say like it's fair to consider that, you know, oh, of course this can happen. I wish this doesn't really happen with this character, because of the fact that, you know, there is locking that goes on here, and it could be very, very dangerous and annoying for your characters to be put in a situation like this. I feel like it's not really as common of an issue as people make it out to be, in my personal opinion. From what my testing, like, unless Goku Black specifically would super attack Vegeta and Trunks if they're locked in slot 2 or slot 3, they don't die. They are fighting its normals. The Zamasu super, I feel like, doesn't really hurt as bad, of course, as the Goku Black super. Goku Black super, when we consider the attack raise here, and when we consider this greatly raised attack, like, it does hit harder than Zamasu's. And, you know, especially if they're able to get a few hits built in, like, let's say the AoE from the Goku Black, right? They're actually able to live Zamasu super, I found. And I mean, we even did the math for that in my breakdown video for the details initially. And the thing about Vegeta and Trunks is if you're able to put them in slot 1, they're safe. Like, they're safe in slot 1. If they're in slot 2, slot 3, they're not even guaranteed to die. Like, it's not like an instant KO. And if you have a full dodge build on them, they could just straight up dodge the super. I mean, that literally is what happened to me in one of these videos where I got a dodge on the super attack against Goku Black in slot 3. And I'm like, oh, they lived the normals. We dodged the super. We're alive. It's not an instant KO with this character. So I think that's a misconception people have. And in this stage, this character doesn't also really have that struggle because of the fact that, again, if they're like I said, if they're locked in slot 2 or slot 3, you are able to build them up and they come back around and they'll still be safe because the super attack is only in the front slot. Like, the super attack here is only ever in slot 1. So even in the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta stage, you know where the super attack is. So as long as, like, you'll just always put this guy in slot 1. And even in slot 2 or slot 3, I also like think that like, there's this clip going on Twitter, which I don't blame the person who posted it because I feel like a lot of people took that clip and ran with their own kind of agenda for it. But I would say when it comes to this, I had my Vegeta Trunks in slot 2, slot 3. We had Blue Goku in slot 1, I think, and then they did live the super attack even in slot 2 or slot 3. But it's kind of like silly to rate these guys as a slot 2 or slot 3 character in this fight because of the fact that you're gonna be like, you're not locked in this fight. Like, there's no locking, there's no ceiling, there's nothing like that. You're just able to put this character in slot 2 and they will just live, right? So I mean, not slot 2, slot 1, sorry, and they will literally just live. So I think that the whole kind of thing about them being a slot 2 or slot 3 is it's an overreaction from the community. Is it like, will they die if they get super from Goku Black in slot 2 or slot 3? Yeah, but like in every other fight, it's fine. I'm probably gonna put this guy up here in S tier. Because I feel like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna put them here in A tier. I think that feels better to me because I was thinking about S tier because I feel like, you know, in that Gogeta fight, you're to go as well. But I think, you know, if they're in slot 2 or slot 3, you'll see the lack of damage from them. I think one thing that I feel like is missing from this character is probably damage. The damage doesn't really meet up there, but everywhere else they're fine. They do what they want to accomplish very well. If you get this active skill, that's crazy. And I think one thing people forget about this character is this. Like, a lot of people are talking about this 5% attack and defense raise, which is really only a useful tool for like non-stacking characters in festival battles. But I think the biggest thing about this character is the fact that they do support 30% defense here for like, in terms of support. I think this is something that people aren't talking about, because this is a phase 2 defensive support. And again, I brought up a bunch of characters that really just truly benefit from this support, such as the Blue Goku right here. You know, if you're somehow running LR Rose in the team, I don't really think it's gonna, I mean, they're both Future Saga, so that will get Goku Black's full passive, right? Let's see what other character. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta does not benefit from that. He's not born a parent child. Let's forget about that. The year 10 Vegeta, because the thing about this guy, where is he, or, you know, LR Gods and Super Saiyan 4s, they're actually on a bottom parent child because of it's a Goku and Vegeta card rather than just only a Gogeta card. Where is Tech Vegeta? And the thing about Gogeta is that Gogeta does have like a phase 2 defense buff, but this guy doesn't, right? So this character, no defense when attacking. And then Vegeta also does not have defense when attacking. He only has the high reduction plus the guard. The thing about this character is that they will benefit from that 30% defense raise. So this right here would be basically as if Vegeta had 30% defense when attacking here. And let's say that they're at 3 million defense or something like that. They would get 30% of that. So that'd be what, 1 million defense added onto that, for example. Super Saiyan 4s right here. These guys also don't have phase 2 defense. No attacker defense when attacking, no attacker defense when receiving an attack. This Vegeta and Trunks support will give them 30%. So again, let's say they're at 3 million defense. They would actually be at 4 million defense after this guy attacks with 24 keep. Same thing with the LR gods, they also do not have that. And even when these characters do transform, they still do not have phase 2 buffs besides attack here. Defensively, they don't have it. So that's just the one thing I wanted to bring up, where this Vegeta and Trunks support is actually pretty good for a lot of the characters that are top tier, because a lot of them are reliant on stacks rather than this right here, which I think this was a really good addition, especially considering that, again, you're going to be putting this character in slot 1, the first spot. So you're very well going to have that extra 30% defense support. And I think that it should be something that should be talked about more often when it comes to this character, that I think, again, it's flying under the radar. But I would say I probably would put him A tier, just because they do have, I think, a clear weakness there. But I think, you know, this guy's grade 8, and then these two potentially having just 2 turns of being fully invincible in any slot take the priority for me. I think these characters are like, they can have the power of these characters, but if you notice, most of them are slot restricted in some way, or like, you know, maybe can be ran slot 1 every situation. Or I would say, like, when it comes to UI Goku, these fights maybe sometimes don't like, I think with UI Goku is low-key up here, but he doesn't have the damage either. I feel like the damage is really huge, but he has dodge turn, revive turn, then if he revives he has guaranteed dodge. Like, that's so huge. It just, like, his damage is like, he doesn't even really do as much damage like this guy would. Especially when he gets Super Saiyan 4 out. These two do more damage, and they're not even like the biggest damage dealers. Vegeta and Trunks could do more damage in slot 1. Like, that's the only thing missing from this guy, but the utility is so huge. But I think the amount of damage you do to these bosses do matter, is what I'm thinking here. But I don't know, let me know what you guys think. I mean, I do feel safer with AGL UI over the rest of these characters, I'm not gonna lie, and like Goku Black Zamasu. Though I would say in every other fight I feel safer with this character. It's tough. Like, what if I do like this? People would get mad at me for doing this, but no. I think we'll do this here. This kind of just makes the most sense to me. It's just me talking about just some silly things. The AGL UI Goku glaze will always exist. I mean, I'm a AGL UI Goku fan for sure. That guy has saved my ass so many times in these battles. It is pretty crazy how many times he has actually saved my ass. So I just want to give him kudos. But we can talk about Festival again. Festival to me is not nearly as important when it comes to these rankings. I mean, I'm gonna just kind of put these characters on there. I think you actually low-key are S tier. I'm probably gonna move you to Z tier, is what I'm thinking here. Omega's unusable. Vegeta and Trunks is a Z tier character. I think, you know, them providing stacking, they're probably just the best festival character, straight up. Blue Goku and Vegeta. Actually, again, I've seen all these characters usable. Like, this guy just like could one-shot the Glorio in the fight, which is very funny. This character could do a lot of damage in Festival, and then especially with Vegeta and Trunks present, you know, all 3 of these could look a lot better. I wonder how this guy would do with Vegeta and Trunks. That's the only character I haven't really tried in there, but yeah. I think you wouldn't really use any of these other characters in here. So, I mean, just updating this, not really too much. And these characters are on here, by the way, just because of Vegeta and Trunks as well. I'm not really counting too much, but I've seen runs with these characters. I mean, I've already seen a run with Goku Frieza in the past, but these characters are actually usable now because the defensive stacking that he gives them, that Goku gets in slot 1 and kind of eats some attacks. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, again, that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So, okay, let's actually build the top 10 here again in accordance with these 2 lists. I think, you know, if we really take precedence of everything here, I would say Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta to me is 1. I think Blue Goku's 2. I feel like, you know, when it comes to Rose versus Omega, like, I would say they're on the same tier here. I feel like the thing about Rose over Omega, is I just feel like I've died less with Goku Black than Omega. Like I've died a couple of times with Omega Shenron in the past, but Goku Black I haven't really experienced that as often. I would say Omega has a better setup. Omega has the attack like nullification too. Let me look at Goku Black's kit one more time. I just feel like Goku Black is overall stronger. Goku Black could technically also be used on the Blues team. Like he'll lose big bad bosses, but at least he'll get the 60% defensive support. This guy is so good for villains, but I just feel like this guy dies like quite a decent amount compared to Goku Black. That might be the deciding factor. Like Omega does generally more. This guy also has like the nuke. I feel like all three you know what? I would say these three characters have like a nuke in their back pocket as well, which is pretty huge. This guy's Dragon Fist active skill, the Vegeta Trunks, you know, even the Vegeta active skill could do decent damage, but really the Vegeta and Trunks active does crazy damage. I think the Fusion Zamasu active does crazy damage too, and there's also support here. I think Omega just doesn't have that as a character. He has some of the extra support, which is really good. Like, this is cool, but really this is crazy. It's just, I think that with Rose dying less and Rose having that like just one shot the boss nuke in his back pocket, it probably is what takes the cake for me here. Now, from here is where things get a little difficult. I'm gonna say, I mean, it's probably just these three. Because the thing about, like, obviously we have the year 10 fusions in here. These guys are really good. But I think these characters are better because they're on like the same kind of tier here in this fight. But I like them over here more. Yeah, I'm gonna say this character, then I think these two. I realized I have 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, not 6. Where is 6 at? I made a mistake. I'm missing one. I realize I'm missing one. Oops. Let me fix this real quick. Wait, okay, let's add a 10 here. My bad, chat. Let's fix this, and then this is gonna be, I don't know, we could just make this yellow. Doesn't really matter. Okay. I think this makes sense. I feel like these two are quite similar to each other. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is, like, he has the scouter and the counter. These guys could do a lot more damage, like, in the very first turn, though. They're less, like, Super Saiyan 4 partner reliant, which is not really the big deal, because we have AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and, you know, I think I will probably put AGL Super Saiyan 4 Goku next. And, you know, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, that's really huge. These guys, you know, having this guy as a partner, though, that helps a lot with their damage, because they do share a good amount of links, so I think 6 out of 7 links. That does matter. Yeah, I just think that they're very similar in terms of what they do overall. I just think Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is stronger than the LR Gods post-fusion. But, like, when we consider, like, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta specifically, like, he is up here, like, in this top 3 range. The Gods would probably be right there as well, more or less. They're pretty insane. They have a turn of guaranteed dodge. This guy has a turn of guaranteed counters. It's just a lot. But like that, I think the thing is that like the Gods get like double rainbow orb changing, while this guy gets a scouter. I think that's kind of the deciding factor for me. Yeah, I think so. The counter is also really good, especially when you consider, if we do consider festival here, which I am considering it a little. And then from here, so it's basically, I mean, from here it's these three: Vegeta, Trunks, Super Saiyan Goku, and then Super Saiyan Vegeta. I mean, I could truly see, I mean, do I like Vegeta Trunks over the year 10s? I would say no. Is this it, what I would do? Because, okay, if I really think about this, I don't think I'm taking any of these characters over Vegeta Trunks. Tien is really good, but I don't think I'm taking Tien over him. We could talk about what, AGL? No. I mean, Gotenks, no. I think this might be what I'm feeling like because I would say these guys are like relatively the same tier in these supreme or the special battle fights. Would Vegeta and Trunks be more useful than these guys? They're also in the same tier. I'm gonna say, okay, it's tough. It is very tough because they all have their own strengths and weaknesses. I think that it's probably just coming down to the fact that the year 10s have their fused forms. It's pretty much it for me. I think it is just the year 10's fused forms that make it come down to me, for honestly. This guy has their active, but it is probably just the year 10s having their fusion forms that I think would take it for me between these three, considering they're evenly matched, more or less. Yeah. Yeah, I think it is close-ish, but I think this makes sense to me. And VT, like in this match is what I was thinking. I was thinking roughly VT would be like 8 to 10 range, honestly, on the lower tier. They're still very good. They're still quite good, though. I do really like Vegeta Trunks quite a bit. I think they have a lot of tools with them. But I'm thinking I'm taking the year 10s. Yeah. Makes sense to me, honestly. I think, again, Vegeta Trunks is the one character that I would say the least sure of as well, because he came out on the 1st and it's still only the 4th. Whilst everyone else I have a pretty good kind of vivid detail. And again, even in Goku Black Zamasu, these guys don't get instantly creamed unless they're locked in slot 1. But like locked in slot 1 getting supered is the same issue as this guy getting locked in slot 2, slot 3 getting supered, right? If anything, you know, these guys technically have slot 2 and slot 3 that they could be finding. Well, this guy only has that one slot technically. This character is basically invincible in the Gogeta fight. I would say this Vegeta Trunks don't really have an option like that as well, but I like this guy better in the Gogeta fight as well. The Omega fights, again, it's kind of whatever. Gogeta here again, and with the Vacu active is kind of nice there. I think that the Vacu active ability is what would make me put him over Vegeta Trunks. I mean, I could see, again, it's really Super Saiyan Goku. I think Super Saiyan Goku is just 90% reduction is just so crazy with this guy. It's really nasty. Yeah. I think I'm keeping things like this. This to me makes the most sense. So I think I'm ending things here. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Again, if you like me making the actual tier list in the middle of this video, I feel pretty good with something like this. I could see, I mean, if someone really likes Vegeta Trunks, but not really. I think they feel pretty strong as like the 10th character here. So I thank y'all for watching, and I guess I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.